Hey, how you doing? Rejection is hard when it comes from anyone, but it is downright hellish if it comes from your own kids. What do you say if you're a Christian parent and your kids have said, I'm cutting you off because of what you believe? I want to give you three ways you can respond to that. But first, let's talk about subscription. If you have been enjoying this podcast, but you haven't yet subscribed, won't you take a minute to hit that bell and subscribe so that I can stay in touch with you? In the comments section, let me know you subscribed so I can thank you personally. We're trying to build community here. I'm real encouraged by the number of new subscriptions we've been getting, so I want to stay in touch with you and keep you abreast of what we're doing here at Cloudfire Ministries. So please, if you've not yet subscribed, hit that button and let me know that you did, all right? Well, okay, there is something devastating happening in a lot of Christian homes, and I want to talk to you about that today because it could be happening in your own home. A departure. You raised your kids in the faith, they're growing, and then they start a three-part departure, and that they depart from your beliefs, then they become hostile to your beliefs, then they become downright hostile to you, and they give you an ultimatum. Mom, Dad, change your views. Change your views on race, accept the critical race theory. Change your views on sexuality, affirm same-sex marriage. Change your views on transgender, affirm the transgender experience. Change your views on the environment. Change your views on the kind of candidate you ought to support. Change your views or we're finished. And you think, whoa. What the heck has happened here? And how on earth do I respond to it? Well, yeah, it's a terrible thing to go through. It's a terrible thing. Let's start, though, by looking at the context of what's going on here. This has all the earmarks of a crusade, doesn't it? I think internationally we're seeing a well-orchestrated, very powerful crusade. Now, the Webster definition of crusade is, quote, a vigorous campaign for political, social, or religious change. That's the definition of crusade. Well, a crusade usually begins with a complaint. Something is unjust, okay? Something's wrong. And then the complaint gives birth to a cause. We are going to right the wrong. And that provides a person with a sense of meaning, even a kind of a nobility. And of course, it provides a person with a sense of community. We are together in this cause. You ever seen the musical Les Miserables? There's a great song in there. Can you hear the people sing? One of the lyrics goes like this: will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me somewhere beyond the barricade? Is there a world you long to see? Wow. I mean, that makes you want to march. But it's a very strong bond. The bond over a cause, that's an incredibly strong bond. So you've got complaints. Something seems to be wrong. Cause, we are going to be the ones who will right that wrong. Community, we are together in our cause. And for a season, that bond with the cause and the people in the cause, it seems to be replacing your child's bond with you. What on earth can you say? Okay, I want to offer you a set of questions you can ask using the word fair, F-A-I-R, F-A-I-R. Let's start with F. Are you fair? Are you being fair with me? It's a legitimate question. Your child says to you, Mom, Dad, I'm through with you unless you change your viewpoint because I've decided you're transphobic or you're xenophobic or you're homophobic or you're whatever. And it's fair to ask, now, wait a minute, do you treat everyone the way you're treating me? I mean, do you really reject anyone who disagrees with you? If you hold a certain viewpoint and somebody else holds a different viewpoint, you just walk away from the relationship? Are you demanding that everybody in your life conform to your views? Are you really being fair with me? Because if you're not treating other people the way you treat me, there's something unequal about all this. You're not being fair. Proverbs 20:10 says, unjust weights and unjust measures are an abomination to God. In other words, if you're using one standard of measurement for me and you're not using it for other people, then you're not being fair. And you're saying how much you love justice, you're saying how much you love equality, you're saying how much you love equity, but you're not showing fairness to me. That's the first part of fair. Be fair with me. The second part, A, are you accurate? That is to say, okay, you're very passionate about what you say you believe in, and I respect that. I respect that. I think passion is, in essence, a good thing. The early Christian believers were passionate about their cause too, very passionate about it. But even in the midst of that passion, they didn't just accept what people were saying. They made sure that what people were saying to them was accurate. So, for example, the Bereans in Acts chapter 17, verses 11, they are described as being noble because even though they were passionate about Christianity, when Paul himself, the great apostle Paul, was teaching, they checked out what he was saying to make sure that it's accurate. So first, are you being fair with me? And secondly, are you being accurate? Because you're making some very heavy accusations against me. You're saying I'm racist, or you're saying I'm sexist, or I'm homophobic, or I'm transphobic, or I'm xenophobic. Okay, are you being accurate? Have you, to put it plainly, have you examined the meaning of those words? And can you provide tangible evidence that I am guilty, according to the definition of those words, of being those things? According to the definition of sexism or homophobic beliefs or transphobia. Am I really guilty of this, or are you just accepting these labels without examining whether or not they really apply to me? Are you being accurate? Because it seems to me, and this is an important point, you have found me guilty without a trial. You're throwing out these accusations, you're throwing out these labels, you're throwing out your verdict, and I don't remember even having a chance to defend myself. So first, are you being fair? F. Then A, are you being accurate? And third, are you informed? That is to say, do you really know what you're talking about? Okay. When you say that this is your cause and the beliefs in your cause are so valid, have you really checked them out, or have you simply heard them and you're repeating them? See, according to Proverbs 25:2, it is the glory of God to conceal a thing, but the honor of kings to search out a matter. Now think about that. One of the greatest gifts God has given us is the capacity to explore, the capacity to search out something to see whether or not it's true. So let me ask you, son, daughter, person I love so much, a couple of major questions. One, are you promoting right now something that you personally have studied or something you've heard? Have you done your own research into this cause that you're promoting so passionately now? Or are you passionate over something you've heard, but you haven't really checked through yourself? And then secondly, if you have checked it out, have you weighed one view against another? Because let me tell you, I'm a born-again believer. I believe the Bible is the inspired word of God. You know, the worldview that I hold. And I have not been afraid to compare it to other worldviews. I have checked out other worldviews, and I am satisfied with the truth that I've landed on. Can you say the same thing? Are you informed? Are you fair? Are you being fair with me? Are you accurate in what you are saying? And are you informed? Have you checked out the merits of the cause that you're promoting so passionately now? And finally, R, F-A-I-R, reasonable. Are you being reasonable? Okay. Suppose you have studied the issues. You've really checked out all the facts for yourself. You're not just taking somebody else's word for it. You've really analyzed the data. You've looked at all sides of the issue, and this is where you've landed. You believe in what? Critical race theory, or you believe in the environmental cause, or you believe in the LGBTQ cause. You've really checked it all out, and you've landed on your position. All right, I respect that. Okay. But is it reasonable to cut me off for that alone just because I don't agree with you? Come on. You knew me all these years before you adopted this new viewpoint. Is it reasonable for you to expect me to change just because you changed? I mean, how can you show me that my beliefs are a violation or an imposition? I could see it if I was violating you by somehow denigrating you, or telling you you're stupid for believing what you believe, or imposing my beliefs on you by saying every time I see you, now sit down, I want to quote the Bible to you. Okay, I could see you pulling away from me for that, but can you really show me where my beliefs in and of themselves have become a violation or an imposition? Because the scripture I've come to really cherish, Micah 6:8, says that basically what the Lord requires of all of us: do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with thy God. Do justice, love mercy. Because listen, please hear this, son, daughter. If you refuse to be fair and merciful, your life is going to be very, very hard. If you treat people the way you're treating me, if you are so rigid, if you are so self-righteous, if you simply cut people off because they don't adopt the same worldview that you've adopted, you're going to have one heck of a hard life. And I would say it's going to be a very, very lonely life. It's an answer you can give, FAIR. Are you being fair? Are you being accurate? Are you informed? And are you being reasonable? Now, that can provide you with an answer to give. And after you answer, whoa, you pray, you grieve, and you wait. You pray, of course, Lord, please soften my son's heart. Please soften my daughter's heart. Please call to remembrance in their own mind how much I've always loved them, how much I care for them, how much I'm still here for them, how unfair they're being. Please enlighten the mind of my son or daughter and soften their heart. You pray and you grieve. How can you not? I mean, you're not going to be indifferent to this. This is your child. You are feeling the pain, because if they are saying, sorry, case closed, if you don't convert, I'll have nothing to do with you, what the heck are you supposed to do? You're not going to abandon truth for the sake of accommodation. No, you can't do that. So you leave the door open and you grieve like the prodigal son's father grieved, just waiting. I release you to God and the consequences of your own decision. And yeah, you wait. And you make it clear, I have not closed the door, and I never will. Because, of course, you won't. Well, hey, if you, as I said earlier, have not yet subscribed, I hope that you will. Also, if you would like to support Cloudfire Ministries, we love bringing you the content, this weekly podcast, but of course, we need your help in doing that, so we'd love to have you partner with us. If you'd like to know how, just go to joedallas.com/giving, joedallas.com/giving. And hey, one more thing. If you have not yet picked up a copy of my book, Christians in a Cancel Culture, that's the book that this podcast is based on. If you'd like to know a little more about, hey, how do I have dialogues? Somebody wants to talk about abortion or about homosexuality, transgender, racism, progressive Christianity. What are some of the talking points I can use that are biblically based and concise and reasonable? And how can I open up better conversations? And how can I better understand why there's such a wall building between the Christian worldview and the secular worldview? Hey, pick up a copy of that book on Amazon.com, Christians in a Cancel Culture. Well, I'm Joe Dallas. We're here every Friday, and I thank you for joining me. Look forward to seeing you next week. God bless.